Greg Jennings via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. So I'm watching Andrew Luck last night, and I said we have Michael Jordan and Tom Brady, who are both all-timers, left for a stretch, inactivity, came back, and that first year back they were good, but they weren't the same until the following year. I watched Andrew Luck last night, Greg, and I thought, oh, he'll be good this year. But he does not quite have the same it thing. That's what I saw. What have you seen in his first two games?
Yeah, I agree. I totally 100% agree with your assessment. When you think about what he's gone through physically and his lack of being present and on the field, there's going to be an uphill climb for Andrew Luck. You don't just miss that amount of time and jump right back in and think that you're going to be right back on the mountaintop. That's not how this works. But I think he understands that. I think the Colts organization understand that. For a player who hasn't played in a while, in a long time in this situation, you have to allow yourself to mentally grow again, meaning his confidence has to be rebuilt, reestablished.
Yes,
like we know who he is, but when you haven't made those throws and thrown in that tight window and seen the plays being made on your end and your receivers' end, it's a growing process all over again.
You know, it's interesting. I'm watching the Sam Darnold thing, and I said this a couple minutes ago. I think Teddy Bridgewater, I frankly think he's better than Blake Bortles. I think he's better than Andy Dalton. I think he's better than Mitch Trubisky. I think he's better than Tannehill. I think he's better than Case Keenum. And I think he's a lot closer to Marcus Mariota than people think. And if I'm the Jets, I do believe, Greg, this morning that Teddy Bridgewater is better than Sam Darnold. There's no question if they played 16 games, I'm going to win more with Teddy. But I got two issues here. Teddy can get you draft picks. I can get a starter for Teddy tomorrow. Secondly, that Jets O-line is a mess. If you ran the Jets today, it's not an easy decision. What do you do with Teddy and Sam?
It's not an easy decision, but from a general manager's seat, I think it's easier because you understand what you're trying to build. You're not trying to build a team around Teddy Bridgewater. You have your future in Sam Darnold. So you understand that. Also, when you're a general manager, you're thinking about what pieces can I put around my future? And if I'm looking at Teddy Bridgewater and I see the asset that I possess, I shop him and I retain what I possibly can, which is a potential second-round draft pick. Maybe, who knows? Someone may be in a hole and really need a quarterback solidification at that position and give you a first round. You never know. So you got to shop them.
I've watched all these quarterbacks play. The one that looks overwhelmed, completing 42% of his throws, is Lamar Jackson. But I always said, don't overdraft him. Tim Tebow got overdrafted. Tim Tebow was a fourth-round prospect. I think Lamar was closer to a second-round, early third. But when you overdraft, just like overpaying for something in life, there's an obligation. I got to use it. And an owner wants to see a first-round quarterback play, whether he's drafted 1, 7, 9, or last. I watch Lamar, and I don't think he's ready for game speed. And you know, what do you do? What is your gut feeling? What happens going forward with Lamar Jackson?
So, number one, you just hit it for me. The game, as fast as Lamar Jackson is and as athletic as he is, the game looks so fast. It looks like he can't keep up with what defenses are doing. Like he's more so trying to react a little too late. Instead of anticipating and having an idea at the line of scrimmage what he's getting ready to see. And I've heard you say this earlier about Tyrod Taylor. In the preseason, this is as vanilla as you're going to get a defensive scheme. So if you're struggling with this, can you imagine the blitzes and all the idiosyncrasies that a defensive coordinator are going to throw at a young quarterback? He's just not quite ready.
Yeah. By the way, I think Tyrod's better than Baker, but I do think Baker's going to work in this league. I think he's I think his ceiling is, frankly, it's kind of Teddy Bridgewater, which is you can win a bunch of games with Teddy, but there's going to be, the size isn't ideal, the arm isn't ideal. But Tyrod's better today. I think the Browns will cave. I think they'll cave. He's a number one pick. The fans, Tyrod's going to take this roster and win 7-8 games, but he'll have a 2-game losing streak at some point, and the owner, the fans, I think they're going to cave. I think Tyrod should start the year. Now Joy thinks just put Baker in and let him go. How do you wrap up the Tyrod? Because I'm watching these guys play. Tyrod is toying with these vanilla defense. He is toying. He goes out there, he's like 4 of 5, 74%. Baker's okay, but he's completing 55. What are they going to do in Cleveland? Do you think they cave?
I do not. I totally disagree with you on this one. I don't think that they cave. When you look at where John Dorsey came from, he came from a similar situation in Kansas City where you draft the Patrick Mahomes and you have an Alex Smith. You understand going in, Alex Smith is our guy. But the following season, the following year, okay, let's get rid of him. Let's now insert him after a year of kind of a red shirt year. I think this is the Cleveland Browns approach. And with Tyrod Taylor, he's a very smart quarterback who's not going to throw interceptions, who's not going to turn the ball over, who's not going to make bad decisions at the line of scrimmage to put your team behind the 8-ball. And I think you have to take that under consideration when you're dealing with this quarterback situation. Another thing, this is a great problem for the Cleveland Browns to have. When is the last time that we've seen the Cleveland Browns with a quarterback situation that we like, that it's favorable for them? This is what you want. You want to start Tyrod Taylor. You have time. Don't cave. Wait till next year, or wait till Tyrod gives you a reason to move forward with your number 1 overall pick.
Greg Jennings, 10 years, Pro Bowls. Are you in your cool room? That looks like your cool room, isn't it? Yes, it is. God, can't wait to see you out here, buddy. Thanks again.
Absolutely, Colin.
Coming up. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.